Hello sir, good afternoon. My name is Roshan Male and today date is 22 November 2021. Okay, so today topic is a constructor. Constructor in Java. Okay, so what is constructor in Java? So in this way to the block of the code in similar to the methods and it's called as the instance of the class and grade is created. Okay, at the same time of calling constructor memory for the object and location. Okay, this way to the constructor. So it is the basically types of the methods which is used to the initialize the object of constructor. Okay, so is every time of object and created using the new keyword, and this list the constructor is called as constructor. Okay, so in this way to the constructor from the object in every times of the methods of the initialize to contain the methods of the number of the available of classes and such a case of constructor in defaults. Okay, so we have to the there are two types of constructor in Java. So non constructor in Java, so parameter constructor in the in constructor. Okay, so rule in create in Java of a constructor, there are two rules of define the constructor. So constructor name is must be the same and the class name. Okay, must be the same and it is class name. Okay, the constructor must have no execute the return types. Okay, so Java constructor cannot be abstract and static finder and synchronize. Okay, so we have to the constructor in this form of the explanation of the constructor. So the exit so the no return types in this form of the cannot be abstract to final and statics and synchronize. So for first of all discuss with the types of constructor. So first of all discuss with default constructor. Default constructor in this way to the constructor is called as a default constructor. It does not have any parameters of the default constructor. Okay, so we have to the syntax of default constructor is a class name and class name. So the in this way to the examples of the in creating class in bike also creating a default constructor bike sysout in bike is created. So main method is in this way calling the default constructor. So class name is bike in reference variable to local variable in b and equal to new bike. Okay, so output is a bike is created in this way to the example of the default constructor on is same. Okay, so in this way to the parameter next is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so in this way to the parameterized constructor, so constructor which has specified the number of the parameters is called as parameter constructor. In this way, to the specify the number of the parameterized in this call parameter. Why I use in parameter constructor? So number of in this way to the parameter constructor is used to provide the difference way to the content in this way to the parameterize in however can be provide the value of the same methods in constructor. So you can use the constructor of the parameter constructor. Okay, so we have to any number of parameter in constructor in form of the methods of the initialize to student. So example of the parameter constructor. So class a class students in id name string name. Okay, so we have difference in string in the a of id and a name in this way to display the public main methods of the student from the constructor. Okay, so we have to contain the value of the constructor in this way to the parameterized constructor. So form of the display the value of the constructor. Okay, so we have to constructor in overloading in Java. So Java constructor is must the method without return types. So it can also be the overloading in Java. So constructor is a low overloading in Java. So technical have the more than efficiency in this form of the constructor in perform of the constructor in different tasks. Okay, so there are a different parameters compiler in number of programming and list in these types of constructor. So agreement the each constructor in performs a task and reference the variable in the form of the constructor loading and agreement the in this way to the personal constructor, so form of the constructor. Okay, the in this Java constructor and Java methods in this different similar way to the initialize the state in object and may expose the methods of the constructor. Okay, so thank you sir.